just ask yourself from an African American experience, when was it ever great in America for the African American? When was it great? So if you're making it great again, it's not including them.
So today is a big day today. As you can see, it is the 2nd, and I have to go to, it says Sutter right there, but I'm going to CPMC in San Francisco for a reevaluation. Now, in the last video, I suggested that patients lie to transplant coordinators to get what they want, because honestly, they do not respect honesty, and I stand on that. So what I plan on doing today is holding back a lot and just telling them what they want to hear. So I'm going to put this to the test and see if they make me active on the transplant list again. So as I showed in the packet, I need to go to San Francisco today for a reevaluation. So for this particular reevaluation, what's going to happen? I'm going to speak to the nephrologist, one of the nephrologists they have, and I'm speaking to their social worker. But in order for me to do that, I have to bring like my care person with me, because after transplant, you're going to need somebody that's going to like take care of you for a while. But this time, I'm going to try something a little different. I am not telling them the truth about how I feel about this anymore, right? That's the only thing that they want you to do. It's the only thing they respect, right? They don't want you to tell them the truth about how you feel about this. They just want the positivity. So that's exactly what I'm going to give them. So I'm going to try something a little different this time, and I'm not going to give them everything. I'm just going to give them enough to satisfy them, so that way they can make me active on the transplant list again, and I can get out of there. So with transplant, there's a million reasons why they'll make you inactive on the transplant list. Like if you're in the hospital, they'll make you inactive. If you have a quote bad attitude, they'll make you inactive. If you change addresses, they'll make you inactive. There's just there's a litany of different reasons why they'll make you inactive on the transplant list. So with San Francisco and CPMC, I am inactive now because I recently changed addresses. And as a result of that, they made me inactive until they get they see me, they reevaluate me, and then they get confirmation that that current address I'm living at is the address that is my permanent address. Like if your living situation is not good, if you do not have a place to live, if you do not have stable housing that's clean and safe, they will not make you active on the list. They'll make you inactive on the list until you find stable housing. There's just a bunch of different reasons why they'll make you inactive. If they don't like the shirt that you're wearing when you go to the transplant center to talk to them, they'll make you inactive. Clearly, I'm just kidding. Like, I'm over-exaggerating. But transplant is a very sensitive thing. One of the biggest, and this is a big one for transplant, if you are not a happy dialysis patient, if you are not happy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and if you're not just grateful and appreciative of life, regardless of quality of life, that's a big one that they'll look at and say, okay, this guy's not happy, so we're going to make him inactive on the list until he gets happy. But myself and my family, we're going to make our way to San Francisco today to meet with them to see what they say. I'm going to see if my plan is actually going to work.
Yeah. Right over there?
Mm-hmm.
That old man? That's where we at. These chairs is up high.
Somebody parked. They had gas. Yeah, that's somebody.
Footage from my video, the video I'm making. Transplant is not straightforward. Every time you do something that they ask you to do, the goalpost is constantly going to keep moving further and further back. So from the beginning of this video, I thought I was under the impression that I was just going there for an address confirmation. It's going to speak to the social worker, speak to the nephrologist. That was going to be it. That's what they told me. So 2.5 hour drive to get there. And they tell me that, okay, well, you need a primary care because I just recently moved and I don't have a primary care doctor at the moment. I'm in the process of figuring that out right now. And they tell me that I need like an echocardiogram. So that way they can test to see if my heart is still strong. Now, my issue with this is that these are all things that I could have. This is all things that like I could have known sooner. But because of transplant's inability to communicate effectively with their patients, you're finding all this stuff out at the last minute. So me and my family, we leave the transplant center in San Francisco, 2.5 hour drive back. And I was told from the nephrologist that I seen that the transplant coordinator was going to get in contact with me. 9 days went by and didn't hear a single word from the transplant center. I had to call them to find out what was going on. And I don't have a problem with that. But here's my thing. If I didn't call, they wouldn't have given me any information. It is literally their job to keep me in the loop, and they just decided not to. It is literally a transplant coordinator's job to keep patients in the loop. Patients shouldn't have to be playing phone tag with a coordinator trying to hunt them down to get information that should already be available and afforded to them. So I was on hold before, I had like a stable housing and an address, and I'm still on hold because of all of these things that I wasn't privy to before I got to the transplant center. And what's BS is that coordinators will be the first ones to talk about, you need to treat me with respect. We need to be able to trust you. And it's like, how can the patients believe in your center if you can't even do the bare minimum of your job? So transplant makes you jump through all these hoops. They make you wait all these years, not months, not weeks. Some patients wait years, upwards to 5, 6, 7 years for a maybe.